Mid-90s tomorrow. We'll be in the upper 60s southeast, and tomorrow's highs in the upper 80s. This is the Kansas Agriculture Network.
Valley Vet. helmets. The roar of the crowd raises the hair on your neck. It's the hometown pride for Gridiron Gladiators. This is indoor football. This is your Salina Liberty.
We have waited all week, but now it's Liberty time. It's the Coach Heron O'Neal Show, brought to you from AJ's Sports Bar and Grill in the Alley by St. John's Military School Historical Museum and Brooks Liquor. You can watch the Coach O Show live at salinapost.com. Now ready to talk everything Liberty football, here's Devin, Hanney, and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Welcome in, AJ's in the Alley. We're in downtown Salina. Devin Hanney along with the head coach, first ballot Hall of Famer in the IFL, Heron O'Neal, and another Victory Monday. Here we are, right? You get the victories. Mondays are a lot better. I got to be honest with you right out of the gate here. Going through that first half, I'm panicking a little bit, not only about the outcome of the game, but what were we going to talk about today?
Well, yeah, it was a rough start, especially offensively. That's probably the understatement of the year. I've never been shut out in a half, ever. That was a first for me. There was some things that we were trying to see. We ran a lot of different things, and a lot of things didn't work. I'll say that. Billings is a legit football team. That defensive line that they have is one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the league. Denarius at linebacker number 2, he did his thing pretty much all night. And Theo knows us. It showed. He came and he did some things, and it definitely took some time to make some adjustments. But at halftime, Dylan, as well as Coach Kavanaugh, as well as Coach Martinez, came up with some suggestions of what they think will work. They seen some of the few things that worked in the first half, and we kind of came up with a second or third game plan, so to say. Injury cost us one of our formations that we were going to rely heavily on, that we were not able to do. So it was another piece that needed to be moved there on the chessboard. But the thing that I will say is the defense, they definitely, yes, it was 13-0, but they kept us out of a lot of bad situations. Personally doing what he does besides the first kickoff, did his job, again, very, very well, giving us the field position in which we needed for our defense to do what they need to do as well. So special teams and defense is why we won this game, as well as what kept us in the game moving forward.
We just kind of jumped right in there. I want to remind everybody we're at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. You still have time to join us. We do this every Monday between 5:30 and 6:30. They also have Manly Monday, which is Min Bowl free, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. every single Monday here at AJ's in the Alley. And then when we get done at 6:30 every Monday, they have Singo. Basically, it's bingo with music trivia. So food, drinks, always great here. We know that.
Always fun.
So when you look at this game, and I want to dig in a little bit here to this contest, and we're going to take it because we like to say things like, well, it was a tale of two halves and junk like that. But this was honestly just felt like two totally different games. In the arena, getting ready for the game, and as we're going through the first quarter, it just felt flat to me. Of course, I'm way, way up there in the luxury boxes.
Yeah, I know. I walk up there all the time. I know.
What was it like for you on the field? Did it kind of seem like there was a lack of juice in this game and that it was a little flat because this is a big game. It's a game of the week.
It wasn't lack of juice. It was lack of execution, and it was on one side of the football. Okay. Like I said, the other two sides of the football was firing on all cylinders. Special teams and defense was firing from the beginning, and that's the only reason we were able to be where we were. But it was very frustrating to me, specifically with play calling, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and when nothing was working, just the strength in our coaching staff of, hey, this may be here, this may be here. It was the best that I've had since I've been here in Salina as far as play suggestion from our three coaches that we have. In the beginning, we run a script, so it's different plays. We try to see different things and everything, and just what Theo was doing was they were executing at a higher rate with more intensity than what we were. Offensive line did not play a good game at all. It was probably the worst game we've played up front. And when you don't win the line of scrimmage, you're not gonna win too many games. And the thing I will say is I don't think we scored a offensive touchdown until the fourth quarter. And when you do that, the scores are going to get lopsided like that. I mean, halftime, I think it was 13-0. But that's a testament to our defense. It's a testament to our team that we're tested. We've been in games where things didn't go our way, and you still got to keep playing it all the way to the end. So playing the tough schedule that we have played since I've been here, I think is why we won that game. If we played a bunch of cream puffs and for the first time face adversity, we probably would have got blown out. So I'm kind of glad that we did play this, the schedule that we played. We're battle tested. We understand what a tough football team Billings is, and we have to come back out in the second half and make some different adjustments and execute a whole lot better, especially offensively.
You just brought up something we talked about during the broadcast, and that is Theo Johnson on the other side, acting as head coach for this game for Billings, and he's currently coaching for the Outlaws right now. He has spent some time here in Salina. He has spent some time with you and your coaching staff. Was there any kind of trends or anything that he was aware of maybe just how you like to do things and maybe how the flow of the game goes for you that you saw him picking up on and maybe you were concerned about coming into this?
Absolutely. I just didn't know how much he picked up, and it showed. First half showed exactly what he picked up.
Yeah.
Being in those meeting rooms with me is not easy. Coach Martinez and Theo can definitely tell you about all of those. But he picked up a lot, and he figured out some things, and he came with a great game plan. That's why after the game he was down and everything, and I was like, bro, you did everything you could to put yourself, out there to try to get this win. I was like, I've never been shut down to that point, like to score 0.
Yeah.
I was like, you did a good job. He's not good enough. We didn't win. And I get that because he's a competitor just like I am. But Theo played for me in 2006. He played for me in 2007. He coached for me in 2010. He coached for me in 2018 and 19. So, yeah, he knows me. What I didn't know is him.
Yeah.
While he was here, he coached a lot. He's seen the meeting rooms in which we have. And we call it the war room of the different things that we put up on that board, and we scheme against each other. So when we go against somebody else, it's easier. I'm not going to say it's easy because it's never easy, but he picked up a lot of that. And you can see that early on. But once we moved some of those chess pieces around with the help of my coaching staff, we were able to kind of get around a couple things and got a couple breaks special teams-wise that helped us out as well.
We talked in the pregame before the contest on Saturday that this team had a handful of NFL players on it. A lot of that talent was up front on the defensive line. And I know you and I spoke before about there's 3 guys on the field that can change the way a game is played and wreak havoc, and that's a defensive line. We've seen combinations here in the past with Latimer and Taylor and guys like that. And I know I'm going to leave some guys out, but you get my point. Sioux City had Claude Davis, Ben Peaster. Those guys together were a nightmare. Now Claude Davis is with Billings, and they have that type of defensive line. How many things, I should say, did you have to change and just kind of, okay, first we need to take care of them and then, see what happens on for the rest of the play?
It was a lot of that going on. With a quarterback that's only been here at that point probably not even 2 weeks, it's only so much you can put on his plate and hope that he can execute at a high rate. So we had to bring some different things back. But like you said, if you can't block those guys that they have up front, it's going to be a long day. And each one of those guys, that they played the whole game. The left end, the right end, and the nose all played for the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. And, it showed. That defensive line was supreme. And then you add in Demarius, who I forget what team he played for, but he was in the NFL as well. Mm-hmm. Their top 4 is the best top 4, arguably in the league. So we knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew we had it a little bit easier when we went up there and Claude didn't play. Yeah, it was a little bit different. But coming to this game, we knew Claude would probably be there and that whole defensive line would be there as well as that front. The linebackers. So as well as Theo kind of knowing what we like to do and things of that nature, we knew it was not going to be easy. We knew it would be a battle of nutrition, of understanding that our first quarter is not going to be as good as our third and fourth quarter. The thing that we need to focus on, though, is the turnovers. The turnovers is what put ourselves in bad situations. I'll say that. Some bad decisions here and there. But defensively, special teams is what kept us in the game until they actually, our special team scored first, and then we got a defensive touchdown in that third quarter. So once we do those things, that you can see the momentum switch, that crowd got crazy and ruckus and everything. We needed that, and you can see we rode that wave all the way through that fourth quarter.
I want to cut this conversation off a little bit at halftime because we'll talk more about second half after the break. As you're sitting there and the things that you're telling me that are going on, flow offensively, kind of butting heads a little bit with Theo on the other side, trying to figure this whole game out, in the back of your mind there had to be a little bit that's telling you, as bad as we're playing right now, because it was 6-0 for a long time. They scored to go up 13-0 on the last play of the first half.
Yep.
So we're writing a 6-0 score forever. There had to be a little bit in the back of your mind that thought, our defense is playing well enough to keep us in this. If we figure this out, we're going to be okay, because it's a one-score game.
Well, that's why I didn't speak to not one member of the defense at halftime. There was nothing to talk to about that, and special teams didn't speak to many of those guys either. What I brought in the offensive line, I brought in the receivers, and I brought in the quarterback and running backs, because that's where the issues were.
Yeah.
And just making them understand that we knew it was going to be this type competitiveness at those positions. They're very good at those positions, and we need to raise our execution, not our level of intensity, because they were playing hard. It just we were not executing at the rate that we usually execute, and we wasn't using the techniques in which they were taught. So just refining that. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I didn't break anything for once. I didn't do any of that.
For once.
I talked very calmly with the guys and made sure that they understood where we were coming from. But I knew my ace in the hole as a coach in my 17 years has always been my defense. This year our special teams is stepping up the way we need them to step up. But my defense kept us in until we were able to figure out what we needed to do offensively to start putting some points on the board.
So before we hit halftime, Coach, the last 4 seconds, how much, because you're kind of mentally planning, whether, it's human nature, you're thinking ahead of what needs to be done as we start to lay the road here for third and fourth quarter. How much did that planning change because they did score? Again, we're in a low-scoring game. It's 6-0, and then they tack on that extra 7 points on the last play of the first half, and instead of a 6-0 game, it's 13-0. Did that kind of change your mindset a little bit as you're walking to the locker room?
Well, no, because I knew eventually that's one of the top offenses in the league.
Yeah.
You're going against McCollum, who's a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Soon, the day he retires, he's going to be inducted into the IFL Hall of Fame. He's first in every category in the IFL. They got 2 NFL receivers over there. Their offensive line is great. I knew to go in at halftime and only giving up 13, I knew we were right where we needed to be defensively. We just had to figure out some ways to get points on the board. Defensively, I was not worried at all. I knew what we were going to be able to do defensively. The thing I didn't know is, like we said, we brought Dwayne in to be – we were a good football team for the last 2 years that we played. We needed something to put us over the top. If you look at the Omaha game, who made the play of the game? Dwayne Autry.
Yep.
You look at this game right here, who made the play of the game? Dwayne Autry. That's what he was brought in to do. And those type things, you don't map it out all the time. But like I said on my post, I don't believe in great plays. I believe in great players, and we got that. So confidence never wavered, and we knew we were going to come back. We just didn't know in what manner we were going to come back.
Up against our first break, we're at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina, and it's brought to you, the Coach Heron O'Neal Show, by St. John's Military School Historical Museum. We'll be back, and we'll get into the fun stuff after the break when we start talking about second half. Currently, as we leave this, it is 13-0 Billings at halftime of our game on Saturday. We'll get to the second half. After this, you're watching the Coach O Show on Salina Post and listening on KINA.
Many professional athletes, professional football players like Peyton Manning and Jamal Charles have used PRP therapy for sports injuries and to avoid surgery. But you don't have to be a world-class athlete with millions of dollars for this cutting-edge therapy. PRP is available to you in the Salina Pain Clinic. Call the doctors for a consultation and see if this treatment is right for you. See them at 200 South 5th in the Salina Surgical Arts Center.
Spring is here, and that means more time outdoors with your favorite beverages from Salina
Salina Wholesale Liquor. More time outside means more barbecues and time on the go. Perfect time to pack our portable wines and ready-to-go cocktails. We also have a great selection of new seltzers and a huge selection of wine and whiskey. Spring in and save big now at all 3 locations. In Salina at Sam's Club, off 9th Street behind Cadova, and on the corner of Iron and Ohio. We have better prices, we're close and quicker. Salina Wholesale Liquor.
Think about the word precision. Precision represents quality and the fact of being exact and accurate. Isn't that what you want when it comes to electrical? Precision Electrical Contractors in Salina brings exact and accurate quality to electrical jobs in Central Kansas since 2003. Precision Electric's focus on quality and performance, combined with their experience and dedication, creates a winning set of finished products which saves their customers money. Don't rely on so-so electrical. Visit the team at Precision Electrical Contractors. Online at pecsalina.com.
The Salina Liberty play here.
A huge indoor football matchup coming your way this Saturday here on KINA. Hi everyone, it's Devin, Hanney inviting you to join us for Salina Liberty football from Omaha on Saturday. Salina trying to complete the season sweep of the Omaha Beef with playoff implications on the line. Pre-game brought to you by Comfort Heating and Air starting at 6 o'clock. Omaha and Salina Liberty brought to you by K4 Trailer Sales on Saturday.
Liberty indoor football on Salina Sports Station, KINA. Let's go!
It's spring cleaning time, and that means you should add one more little thing to your to-do list. Call Comfort Heating and Air for an HVAC clean and check. Our technicians will make sure your system is in tip-top shape, so when warm weather arrives, your AC will be ready. That means cleaning your coils, checking Freon levels, double-checking all electrical connections for safety, even changing your filters. With locations in Salina and Clay Center, we are the company that cares. Comfort Heating and Air.
You can rely on the company that cares. We're Comfort Heating and Air.
Show Construction does metal roofs. Show Construction offers residential, commercial, and ag metal roofing. Show offers designer rib steel, standing seam, screw-down panels, or stone-coated steel. Show Construction has financing available with low monthly payments. When it's time for a new metal roof, remember Show Construction. We'll travel to you and provide free estimates. Call 833-2007. That's 833-2007. Google us, showroofing.com, or find us on Facebook. Show Construction, the company your neighbors trust.
The Tony's Pizza Event Center is open for business and ready to welcome you. Whether you have a group of 12 or 1,200, our staff can help you plan the perfect event. With 8 meeting rooms and over 18,000 square feet, the Great Plains Manufacturing Convention Hall has plenty of room for your conference, trade show, wedding, or banquet, while our in-house food and beverage team can craft the menu to suit any event. Schedule your personalized tour today by calling Tony's Pizza Event Center or visit Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com.
And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Back here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. Devin Hanney along with Coach Heron O'Neal as we get back into the Coaches Show. Where we left it before break, it's 13-0. Your offense has very little pulse at this time, and things, you know, as we said, just kind of, you're looking for something positive to happen. We go now through halfway of the third quarter, and you're moving the football but unable to score. And then the play that you kind of alluded to before the break was exactly what you needed. Your defense again stood up. You held Billings up against their own goal line. Nearly had a safety on that drive, but then made them kick from deep out of their own end zone up against that wall. And when you don't have space, we've seen all kinds of things, especially when you have somebody like Shaq Bradford rushing and trying to get that block there. What ended up happening, though, was a short kick, and you had Dwayne Autry back for the return. Talk to me about personnel changes a little bit, because we've talked about how multi-use Dwayne can be. Sometimes, though, that's Kendrick Harper. Talk to me about the personnel of having Dwayne back there, and then just tell me about the play.
Well, the past two, basically since I've come back, just looking at his skill set, if you look before that play, he was the only one to actually kick return. Mm-hmm. So to have him in the game as our returner became not just laughing in games, actually part of the game plan. Now, I'm not going to take any credit for him to come back there for that long field goal return, because he's never really done that before. But as far as kick return and things of that nature, that's where we put him in. We decided that that's where he needs to be. So the thing that I'm not going to lie, though, on that play, I was yelling, screaming, and you know what, and because he went the wrong way.
Okay.
And the thing about it with his training, you know, that he does, and he somehow finagled his way out of there and then ran around the kicker. and somehow stayed skinny and got up the sideline, yeah, it was like, no. Yes, there you go, Dwayne. So I'm not going to sit there and lie and say that whole play I was all about Dwayne because I thought he went the wrong way. And he figured out that and broke 2 tackles and wiggled out of there and shimmied up that sideline. So that was a huge play for us, the play of the game.
And how we saw it way up top, we're kind of looking down at a bird's eye view. I had him down. I see a mass of people, 5 people from the other team on there. I'm not seeing any movement, down at the 15-yard line. Then all of a sudden he spins out, and I don't know what was more impressive about that play, and this speaks to the caliber of the play that Dwayne made, was getting out of that crowd or, like you said, being against that wall and not hitting the wall and kind of going between traffic because it wasn't a free wall. There was people along the wall the whole way, and somehow he gets between everybody, and next thing you know, he's in the end zone.
But that's that dog that he has inside of him. It's something that, growing up in Chicago, you see a lot of guys that's like that you born with what he has inside of him. You can't teach what he brings to that play right there. He has that dog that I'm going to make a play. Just put me in position, and I'll make it. And that, like I said, this is the second time this year against, a super qualified opponent that he makes the play of the game. But he's born with what he did right there because that was all will to get out of that entanglement, so to say. No pun intended there, Will Smith. But to get around there and then go and do what he needed to do up that sideline is huge. I mean, it was the play of the game because it gave the momentum in which we needed, which it started to pour on. We kept coming, and that was the play that started it.
That was the spark, definitely. 6:55 left to go in the third quarter. Pursley gets the extra point, so now you're back within 6. On the very next drive, a fumble. McCollum doesn't make very many mistakes. He kind of tried to scramble out a look to the right-hand side because there was some pressure on him and just lost the football. It came out of his hands, and I saw the football sitting there, and it seemed like an eternity that ball was sitting there. Tron was already on the ground, reaches out, recovers the football, and then had the presence of mind to pop up and take off running because he hadn't been touched. The only guy that touched him, and I don't even know who it was somebody in a red, white, and blue jersey that got a great stiff arm from Tron because he was going to the end zone as well. Tell me about that play.
Well, that person he stiff-armed because they made fun of him today in film was Shaq Bradford.
Okay.
That's who he stiff-armed, basically got him out of there and did what he needed to do. But, again, that play right there is just it's football IQ, awareness. And like I said, you name another linebacker that's playing better than what he's played in the past 3 to 4 games. I would love to have that discussion because he's playing at an elite clip. He's starting, like we said earlier on, he was there for a lot of plays, didn't make them, though. Now he's starting to make them. He's starting to understand what we're trying to do in our scheme. He's starting to understand what other people are trying to do against him as far as their scheme. And he's becoming more comfortable. I mean, anytime you can call out, a GOAT at a meeting and nobody say anything about it, that means you're definitely earning your stripes. So Tron is a guy that we knew were supremely talented, but now he's starting to make those plays that we brought him in to do.
14-13. You get the extra point from Pursley after that touchdown as well. That gives you an edge. You have the lead for the first time. As you said, the crowd at Tony's Pizza Event Center, I don't care if there's 33,000 people, that place is going to get loud. And they were engaged all of a sudden. You gave them something to do because they had energy reserve from the first half.
Yeah, they were sitting on their hands for the whole first half.
So they had something to do, and all of a sudden they were engaged in it. So a point lead, Billings has the football to start fourth quarter. And then one of your veterans there in that secondary, you and I talked about this in pregame, you're building a secondary that you look at, and it is superstar status right now. And one of those guys is Kendrick Harper. He comes up with an interception, a takeaway. Now you're starting to get back to on the good side of things as far as turnovers. And then not only did he get that interception, you were able to take it down the field and get your first offensive touchdown. That's when I really think momentum was going, okay, this is a red, white, and blue night.
Absolutely, and that's why he is the greatest, corner to ever play. Anytime you get 75-plus career interceptions, it's not a coincidence of why you're doing that. It's film study. It's just being in big games, understanding how to to perform in those games. That play right there, I mean, he read something and he broke on it and made a play against another Hall of Famer, so to say. I mean, McCollum's a Hall of Famer. I know that for sure. But that play right there was huge, and that was the extra possession that we needed for our offense to go down there and start to regain some of their confidence to, drive it home and get that touchdown. But that was a huge play as well.
A couple of more offensive touchdowns. Each one of your running backs adds on 6 points towards the end of the game. I think the most impressive thing about this is while you're making your surge and while you're getting back into this game and taking this game over, in the whole second half, you give up 6 points.
Well, if you look at what we've done, the whole year, the adjustments that we've made, the first 3 games, and then you look at the adjustments that Coach Martinez, Coach Carlos, and Dylan made the 2 games that I wasn't there. We're definitely a second-half team. I don't like that, but it's like what Skip Bayless says. Either you have that clutch gene or you don't.
Yeah.
And we definitely have that clutch gene, and I think it comes back to our leadership of our guys that's been here, done that, so to say. And then we have a great group of rookies, Corey, Tron, AJ, A-Love, not AJ, A-Love, guys that are rookies, Parlay, Trey Griffin, they call him Trey Griffin, but we call him Parlay. Guys like that are making plays, Tristan Gould, all of those guys are rookies, and they made big plays. They're starting to, like I told them, after 2 games, you're not a rookie anymore. I'm going to hold you to that same accord of being, a veteran. But to have the veteran leadership to go along with that rookie group that we have, we did a great job of recruiting this year and bringing in the pieces we needed to bring in that secondary, because we needed to fix that. But to bring in people like KINA on the defensive line, to see Travis doing what he's doing, to see Shaq take that next step. He's done that now. Now he's not a rotational piece. He's the starter. And to lead the league in, field goal blocks and things of that nature, everybody are stepping up at the right time. You got Tapa, who he wasn't even with us at the beginning of the season. He's playing some good football at the offensive line spot. You got Big Mac doing his thing at the center. He's the best, offensive lineman in this league, bar nobody. So I know people try to question that, but our O&D line goes as he teaches it. So there's nobody better than him in this league, and it's been like that for 2 years. So to have him help us, especially at halftime, making these different adjustments that we were making and holding his big guys accountable, you can't teach that. You can't even plan that. You just are blessed to have these different people there in your world, so to say.
We've had so much fun talking about this past game. We haven't talked about the league much. We haven't talked about the next game, but 2 big, huge road games coming up. Go to Omaha to play at Ralston Arena. I think I saw today they have a sponsorship on that arena now. It's called Liberty First, which may be a sign. I don't know. We can have some fun with that. Then you go to Tyson Events Center for the second game. So we've talked about the schedule coming up, and I will give you probably just 60 seconds to just talk about that next game. I know you're very similar to the high school team that we cover. And Coach Mitch Gebhardt always tells me when you go on the road, you're down by 14 points. You guys kind of look at that same philosophy. The challenges on Saturday to go get a road game in the sweep of Omaha will be big, won't they?
Absolutely, and Coach Martinez has been preaching that since I've been with them. So when you go on the road, it's momentum, it's crowd, it's all of that. Your travel. So that's why you always say you're down 14 to just begin with. But it's a mentality that we've instilled in our ball players. We played some pretty good football on the road. We played some good football teams on the road as well. So understanding what we're going up against, Omaha is not going to be a slouch. They have one of the, top 2 quarterbacks in the league. If you just look at the stats, he's tops in pretty much every category. And Drew Jackson, they have a great receiving core. They have a great offensive line. So it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to play our A game just to have a chance to play down there.
We will talk more in pregame. Dwayne Autry is coming up next after the news. Top of the hour at 6 o'clock here on KINA. It's the Coach O Show.
KINA Salina, 910 AM, 107.5 FM, K298CZ, an Eagle Communication Station.
This is a Fox News alert. 2 in custody. I'm Lisa Lacera. The Alabama inmate and the corrections officer accused of helping him escape have been captured outside Evansville, Indiana, after a chase.
During the pursuit, the pickup truck wrecked. Casey White surrendered. Vicky White has been transported to the hospital.
Lauderdale County, Alabama Sheriff Rick Singleton. Casey and Vicky White are not related. Investigators think the truck was stolen in Tennessee and driven to Indiana. Officials say Vicky White is charged with helping Casey White, an accused murderer who was serving time on other offenses, to escape. The investigation continues into a fire at an anti-abortion group's headquarters in Wisconsin over the weekend.
Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes says no arrests have been made yet, but they are looking for whomever is behind the fire Sunday at the Wisconsin Family Action Office. He said a passerby saw the flames, which firefighters quickly put out. Chief Barnes says it's believed a Molotov cocktail started the fire. When they got inside, the chief said,
"We found 2.
As they seek a suspected arsonist, Chief Barnes says checks are being made on local facilities on either side of the debate.
The idea is to prevent the next one if that indeed is the case.
Police do not believe right now that it's an inside job. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
President Biden signed into law a measure that will speed up military shipments to Ukraine.
I'm signing a bill that provides another important tool in our efforts to support the government of Ukraine and the Ukrainian people in their fight to defend their country and their democracy against Putin's brutal war.
The president also asking Congress to authorize another $33 billion in military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine. The United States calling an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council for Wednesday following North Korea's latest test of a ballistic missile. America is listening to Fox News.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is a firm that practices family law exclusively. We focus on only one area of the law to maximize our strength and effectiveness as advocates for clients that have everything on the line: their homes, retirement, savings, and most importantly, their children. We're the partner our clients count on. If we can be of help to you, give us a call.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Wichita area attorneys. A partner men can count on. Office in downtown Wichita. CordellCordell.com.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Are you an HR professional, community leader, or business owner? Join us in creating a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. To learn more, visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
The Justice Department is reporting hundreds of people are accused of misusing COVID relief funds.
We're finally getting a picture of what this fraud looks like. Those federal investigators from all across the United States believe that we are at more than $100 billion with a B in COVID relief funding earmarked that was supposed to help small business owners make payroll. Since the Small Business Administration ended the Paycheck Protection Program, known as PPP, exactly 1 year ago, the FBI has made hundreds of arrests. 57,000 people on Treasury's do not pay list receive loans. That's something currently under investigation. And just now, the Department of Justice announced 2 more sentencing announcements for PPP fraud. One person being sentenced to 6.5 years in prison, the other people for 10 years.
Fox's David Spunt. The DOJ says some of those accused used the money to buy homes and luxury items. Multiple earthquakes take place in South Carolina, and scientists are still investigating what caused them.
3 earthquakes happened Monday morning northeast of Columbia, South Carolina. The largest one was magnitude 3.3. While the USGS said there were no reports of damage, they did get hundreds of calls about the shaking. South Carolina officials say this is the 26th earthquake since late December in this area. The state's Department of Natural Resources says the cause of these quakes is not clear, as they occur within a plate and not at a plate boundary, that it may be due to stresses transmitted inward from the boundaries of the North American plate. They say because of all these quakes, the South Carolina Geological Survey is currently mapping faults and geological structures. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The summer movie season's off and running thanks to the latest Doctor Strange movie. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness took in $185 million over the weekend. The Bad Guys in second with $9.8 million, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in third with $6.2 million. I'm Lee Silasera. This is Fox News.
And now here's Devin Hanney with your Liberty Player Profile, brought to you by AJ's in the Alley, St. John's Military School Historical Museum, and Brooks Liquor.
Back here downtown Salina, we're at AJ's in the Alley, and time for our player profile for this week here on the Coach's Show, and it is none other than Dwayne Autry, and you're coming off of a big game on Saturday. Before we get into that, this team might lead the league in great nicknames. I mean, you guys have some great nicknames. You have many of them. What's your favorite one so far? Are we sticking with Ballhawk now, or is that the one that you've been on so far?
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, basically leaving Salina, it was one I kind of took with me, and basically just been playing under that since, and basically just letting the game and the way I play show why I took the name Ballhawk under my wings, basically.
Pull that mic in a little closer for you so we can hear you. So when you come back, I want to go through kind of the early stages here. Let's go back to, you're from the Texas area, right? Houston area?
Yes, sir.
So you come here and you get a chance to play KCAC football with Bethany College. How did that transpire? How did you end up in the middle of Kansas?
Basically, coming from Houston, I signed right out of high school to ASU, but basically I got hit by a car, and then somebody sent that article to the coach. They wanted me to red shirt, didn't want to do that, and my older brother was playing up here, our Archer. He was playing up here at Bethany College. So I basically followed my mom's words. Like she said, once you leave the house, you only have your brothers, to have your back. So that's what I did, really just took a leap of faith and followed my brother up here to college, and ended up playing at Bethany for my freshman and sophomore year. And then some things happened off the field, and then lost my mom basically led me to come to my arena tryout with the Bombers when they started.
You were at Bethany just about the time that indoor football was getting started here in Salina. Within it was the Bombers. And there's not a whole lot that's the same from then to now.
Not
a lot of
all.
things have changed.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
get into that too here in a little bit. Did you ever think, going through your early stages, through high school, through college, things like that, that you would ever be attracted to indoor football? I mean, it was kind of a tryout, and from what I understand, basically you and your brother both came to try out, and there's a couple other guys from the KCAC that you guys knew. That tryout, I remember it was flooded with guys from the KCAC.
Yeah, but basically in my upbringing, I didn't know about anything else. My only thought, they ask you in elementary, what do you want to be?
Yeah.
And my thing was always NFL, professional football player, and go D1. And basically the way that God, dealt my hands, I didn't go D1, but still got to go to college and play the football route. So it was something that I definitely started showing a lot of people. It's a lot more out there other than D1 football. And then with being so focused on being a professional athlete, I didn't get to go the NFL route. And then with making my professional debut with the Bombers, it was just another platform I was able to show a lot of people, you don't have to make it to the NFL to become professional and even carry yourself in that way. So basically God, worked that out and had that set up for me, and just went with it. Didn't look back, really.
That first season was fun with the Bombers.
Yeah,
you guys, you and your brother kind of anchored a secondary and a defense that was very, very good. You had a local guy here with Dane Semino playing quarterback.
Yep.
And in your first year, you were able to make it to the championship game. Went down to Wichita, lost to the Wichita Wild at Hartman Arena. But you were right in the middle of that defense. And I know a lot of disappointment, but you kind of had the newbies on the block with you guys here in Salina going against the vets. And Kendrick Harper was probably on that team back then when you look at how long he's been playing this. What did you learn in that first season, and what did you learn going to a championship and coming up on the short end?
In that first year watching, because I didn't know a lot of the vets in the league, but when I was such a competitor, I was always wanting to beat anybody that lined up against us, and there was a lot of playing against D1 and NFL players, and like you said, the veteran players. So my thing coming from high school was always, if I'm playing against you, and everyone's looking at you, like you're the GOAT or you're the top, like basically the only thing I gotta do is put you on my film, and then they'll basically be like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And basically that's what happened, because every game that year it was somebody big that we were going against that we didn't know. Nobody was respecting us because we're just the NAI KCAC guys, but it was really just the strength within us and just demeanor, and wanting our own respect coming in. And we really didn't get respect, but every game, after games, like we got respect from players, coaches, and organizations, and that's really what we were playing for the whole year.
I want to go to the time where we won't talk a whole lot about specifics, but things fell apart here in Salina with that first ownership group. I know you have a great fan base here in Salina. I see the Dwayne Autry jerseys. They're all over the place. You have a lot of people that still support you and continue to follow you. You played in Sioux City. You kind of bounced around a little bit and were on some other teams. Did you ever think there was going to be any chance that you would be back here in Salina, regardless of who the team was?
I would say probably 2 years after I left, like honestly, my mindset, like honestly, I knew I wasn't. And then it took like a lot more maturity in me, and just basically falling back in love with the game, and just falling in love with just being a professional. Because still, I was still playing, but it was other teammates that I was watching basically like years, and I was still playing. Granted, I was going elsewhere. They weren't playing anymore. And it was always the same saying, like, man, I wish I was still playing. Man, I wish I was still playing. So it was like just knowing I'm still in the position to still be a professional, but now just carry myself in much more of a professional way and still provide for my kids and like be a inspiration for a lot of the youth. So it's like now I just do it like with no problem, and I just know like wherever God wanted me to be, that He would put me in a situation to go be an inspiration wherever I was going to go, and basically just bring a lot more people together. Because definitely when I was down in Texas, I got baptized. And my pastor told me that I was going to be in the position to touch 1,000 more people in a way that I never did before. And so I didn't know like what that was meaning at the time, but slowly like it started happening.
It's a big responsibility.
So that's, really why like I carry myself the way that I do, because I know it's so many people that really like follow me and look up to me and watch what I do and come from similar circumstances, and basically just look at what I'm going through just like them and still have the presence of mind to keep going without falling off.
What clicked for you? What really kind of turned your attention back here to Salina? Was it a phone call from somebody? Was it a relationship? Was it Coach Martinez? Because I heard on the phone he can be a hound dog. What happened to kind of get you looking back this way?
It was more so all of that in one, because no matter the years that I was gone, like I always came back through Salina. Like every year I was always coming back through Salina and always stopping by, having those conversations with whoever that I could. And it was still genuine conversations, and it was always love. It was never any bad relationships between me, the fans. It was just, things that was going on with the old ownership, things like that. So, and just seeing like they still gave me the love and respect as a player and as a human, like it put me in a position to, just go back and play where you're supported and wanted. And give them, just football. Because when I came here, like when I first started, that's all they wanted was football, So it's definitely coming back to give them exactly that and the championship.
You were in the building for the championship game last year. We all know how it ended up. Field goal blocked at the end of the game. Omaha gets out of here with the cup. What was your impressions, though, of what you saw on the field for Salina that made you want to put that jersey on for this season?
This is it. Like I could literally look at a lot of the chemistry, the vets, the leadership within the team and the players, offense and defense, and then with Coach O, his own leadership, just as a coach in general, because not too many coaches can bring certain, just abilities out of you, just to make you just be exactly what they need you to be. And Coach O, he definitely was one of those few for me, and because he gave me a spark back in 2015, like he didn't know that he did, and so knowing like what I would be able to do if he just gave me a chance, just to play under his wing and learn from him. I was willing to do that. So it was really like a conversation, me and him kind of had, along with my brother being D-Trey as well. Like, we've been trying to play together for years. Kendrick Harper as well. It was competitive, but then same thing. Like, we always wanted to know what it would be like just being on each other's team and things like that. So it all came together.
Coach O told me one time, and I'm going to paraphrase here, I don't remember exactly the words, but basically he told me that Dwayne Autry is the guy that I need that I didn't know until now that I needed. So to me, that was the ultimate compliment, because he has had some people. We talk about the secondary right now with you guys. I mean, it's an all-star group. When you talk about Kendrick Harper on one side, Tyrell Green on the other side, you and D-Trey kind of there mixing up in the middle, and just some of the guys around you, the secondary is really, really solid. Saturday we showed that. You guys were able to carry this team to the point where it had a chance.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's going to talk about you on that short kick and the return that you were able to take to the end zone. But there were more plays than that I saw you make. There was a kick coming from Billings after a score that was a troublesome kick for us on the return. It bounced over the first return man, and you were able to come from the other side and have enough angle at that football that you might have saved that football from going into the end zone and being a big trouble spot. You fielded it. It wasn't on the return that was impressive. It was just, to me, that you got there and kept that football from rolling back to where it really could have been a problem.
Yes, sir. That's what I was telling coaches, like a lot of the drills and training that I would do in the off season and even coming up. It's agility drills, awareness drills, and a lot of things that a lot of players honestly take for granted. Like, when I'm in the off season, I'm spending 30, 40 minutes like in the pool, just trying to find ways to basically transition my training into the game, because I know something's going to happen in the game. You never know how a ball's going to bounce, but the way that I would honestly train, throw balls, like just different ways and just reaction drills, like it definitely came out in the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a great play. Now we fast forward to the play where, as I said, I think there were 5 guys that were trying to tackle you on the return. Somehow you spun out of there. You come to your left-hand side, find the wall, and then you're into the end zone. That really gave the first spark for Salina to that game. How did that happen? I mean, I know it's just you're not giving up, and just how did you come out of that crowd?
Well, honestly, I just really just think that, I mean, it was just a defining moment, not only for myself, but our team and organization, what we've been going through this year. And then just knowing, like, I mean, I give praise to God a lot, and just knowing, like, the way that I've been fighting through a lot of my own battles this year, and the training that I would be doing is for those moments, basically just knowing that it's hard times in the game. You're going to have people coming from all angles. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not training to come out of those moments, basically you'll be there to fail. So I train to fail, and then those failing times, like, I come out. And so that's all, like, I really can think about. Honestly, I know one of my brothers, Tron, he was there to assist me and drag me up out of there as well. And definitely thank him for that, for having my back on that. So I was definitely doing whatever I could as a player in the Spark to give it to my team.
I was talking to Dontre here last week about just kind of being a positionless player. And I think that's probably one thing that Coach O'Neal and this coaching staff does better than anybody is they take you and they use you for what you're valued for. You're not just a safety. You're not just a corner. You're not just a linebacker. You've been bouncing around. You've been doing a lot of things. And now he's kind of turned you in the return game. Do you like all that? Do you like bouncing around? Because there's sometimes when you're in there linebacker, and we don't want to put Tron off the field, but it gives that extra coverage guy if somebody is in an obvious passing situation. How do you like bouncing around?
I mean, it's basically my whole upbringing since I've always played football. A lot of people don't, I mean, they laugh at me. Like, I always started off my whole career, I always played offense, quarterback, tailback, receiver, and things like that, kick and punt return. And then until I got to high school, that's when I transitioned to defense. I literally just hit somebody. I was at quarterback. They put me at corner, hit somebody, and they left me on defense. But I literally would still play offense my whole career. But then becoming professional, when I got down with Coach Mann, that's when Dyer was down there and things like that. So it was a lot of other people in the position like, hey, you don't really need to do these certain things, so just do what you need to do. But Coach, he told me, he was like, man, just be ready. Like, it's the fact of the matter that you can go to any one of these spots, and your best ability is your availability, and nobody will ever be able to take that away from you. So in times where they're searching around, things you don't have to search is like, hey, Archer, he's been there before, he'll do it. And it's like just putting it on film and doing it for the team, just giving them, giving them the belief in me. Because basically, I definitely believe in the team, and I know coach and them believe in us as well. So,
what do you think about this stretch of games coming up? We're kind of in the middle of it now. After the Billings game, we had to get that game back and have a split with them after dropping the first one on the road. Now 2 straight road games, 2 Omaha, 2 Sioux City. The rankings say what they are, but when you look at those 2 teams, they're definitely in the upper echelon in the league. What do you think about the stretch of games coming up?
I just feel like we're ready. I don't want to say anything too off the radar, but I just feel like the way that we're rolling, we're really in the position just saying like who's up next.
Yeah.
Like honestly, we're waiting and ready. Basically, and it's not to disrespect anybody else, but we're our biggest opponents right now. Like anything, us playing down level, like of course, like we're not going to execute offense, defense, or special teams. So it's not really just looking at them like they're superior or in any particular spot. Like no, like we're ready. Just roll the tape.
It's a perfect answer because I wasn't looking to get bulletin board material out of you for somebody else, but it just kind of feels like there was a sense that before the Rapid City game 2 weeks ago, there was a big reset button hit. That, okay, what has happened, we're moving on. The season starts now. And I just kind of get that sense from everybody, and it's gone unspoken, but that's just kind of how I feel, and how you just put it into words is perfect. So wasn't trying to get you into anything there.
Nothing at all. It's just I just understand like how things can be, and I just want it to be very understood. It's nothing else we're focused on besides just getting to the next game, putting y'all on the field. That's all we need to do. Just get on the field.
Awesome season so far. Love having you back in Salina. Keep doing your thing, and we'll talk to you in the future.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your time. Dwayne Autry, he's the ball hawk for the Salina Liberty. When we come back, Dan Mendocino will join us, and he'll get us updated on what's going on in the front office and just some other things, too, as we close it out. Here's the Coach Heron O'Neal Show. It's going on right now at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina on KINA and SalinaPost.com.
All right.
Salina Regional's Orthopedic and Sports Medicine is your home field advantage. Our physicians include sports medicine physician Dr. Matthew Pyle, along with orthopedic surgeons Drs. Travis Rump and Todd Riley, plus an A-team of certified athletic trainers and physical therapists. We're ready when you need us to help prevent injuries, enhance performance, or to heal through surgery and rehabilitation. For area athletes to weekend warriors, the home field advantage starts at Salina Regional Orthopedic and Sports Medicine.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Kyle Busch will pull away by a car length over Larson.
Heads to Kansas Speedway.
Kyle Larson looking in the rearview mirror says, I need to get out of here, and I need to get out of here quick.
For a showdown in the Sunflower State.
3 wide from third on back as up front, here comes Kyle Busch. He's going to steal it this afternoon in Kansas.
It's the Advent Health 400.
It's the Advent Health 400 Sunday, 1 p.m. here on 910 AM, 107.5 FM, KINA.
Springtime is here and we're on the go. Visit Commercial Tire Center and get ready to roll. We're driving more and more and getting ready for springtime activities. From the smallest lawnmower tires to passenger tires, farm tires, and the largest truck tires. Call Commercial Tire for repairs that aren't tire related. Our automotive and diesel mechanics will fix it right the first time. Commercial Tire Centers, West Crawford and North 9th in Salina.
Commercial Tire Centers, where service is everything.
This is a great time to get your business ready for summer with BizSwag in Abilene. Get your logo in front of potential clients and add a personal touch to koozies, coolers, hats, and t-shirts. Plan for wedding season with save the dates, invitations, koozies, and cups for that special day. Need help or suggestions? Give us a call. There are hundreds of things that we can utilize to market your business or event. At BizSwag, we are passionate about promotions, and promoting your business is our business. BIZSWAG. See us on Facebook. Your quote is free.
Oh my, what a fresh smell, and this entire place is so clean.
You would never guess our friend here is talking about a porta potty. Not just any porta potty. This is a portable bathroom from Salina Septic Service. Salina Septic Service is changing the game with higher standards of cleanliness and service. Porta potties don't have to be gross, so don't accept any less when you can have the best from Salina Septic Service. now serving Hutch, McPherson, and the Gray Bend areas.
K4 Trailer, RV and truck accessories in Salina has been selling every type of trailer and customizing the baddest trucks in central Kansas for 24 years. Now, K4 is your local dealer for the fastest growing equipment trailer company known as Iron Bull. Plus, Sundowner's newest line of toy haulers, Blazer. K4 is one of the largest stocking trailer dealers in Kansas. K4 also services what they sell and will help you hitch and go. K4 Trailer, RV and truck accessories on West State Street in Salina and K4TrailerSales.com.
St. John's Military School Historical Museum, located on the northeast corner of 9th and Otis, preserving the 131-year history of St. John's Military School and continuing its involvement within the Salina community. Visit us at www.sjmshm.org. Find us on Facebook or call the office today at 785-404-2333 for more information or to book an appointment.
And now back to the Coach O Show with Devin Hanney and Coach Heron O'Neal.
Back here on the Coaches Show, AJ's in the alley downtown Salina. Got a couple of our friends with us, Dan and I do. Modelo and also Coors Light. You can get them at the bar here at AJ's in the alley. Also Crown Distributors and at our friends with Brooks Liquor. Dan, boy, this season is moving right along, and we're in a spot now. Dwayne and I talked about it a little bit, just kind of getting your feet wet into the season and in the front office and going through a spell now where a bunch of home games right in a row. Yeah. Now it's time to go on the road. 3 out of 4 of the games here we have left are on the road to finish this season. But that doesn't mean the work for you guys stop at all, does it? I mean, you still have a lot of things going on a daily basis that pops up. Just talk to me about some of the work going on right now in the front office.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's constant activity to make sure we connect with our sponsors. I mean, you can see inside the arena we have fantastic support by the Salina community, and it's really starting to grow too. So we take the opportunity to kind of do a quick check to see, you know, how do we feel the first half of the season has gone. We've tried to connect with some of our sponsors to see how we're doing for them, especially some of our new sponsors. You know, the sponsors that are continuous or, you know, basically sign up for us every year, they're the ones that know exactly about Salina Liberty football and what we do and how we feel like it's an important piece of the puzzle in Salina. But the new ones, we want to kind of get a, you know, voice of the customer check-in with them just to make sure it's what they thought it was or if there's something that we need to make it. So this is the time we do that, and we're also continuing to recruit. We're taking a look at our roster. You know, we've had some injuries this year that we weren't banking on, and this is the part of the schedule that's the most important. We take it one game at a time, and there's not a more important game than the one that's right in front of us this coming Saturday.
I don't know that's written down in paper anywhere, but the question that I get a lot from supporters, fans, listeners, for the Champions Indoor Football, the playoff format, and I've been told, and I want to confirm with you, is it the top 6 teams that go in this year and the top 2 teams, number 1 and number 2, is to start out get a bye?
That's correct. Yeah, the 6 teams go in, and this was before, of course, Wichita basically bowed out. So the top 2 teams get a bye, and you know, 3 plays 6 and 4 plays 5. So, you know, and that's what we talk about right now. We can't worry about what's happening in the rest of the league. We're only worried about inside our locker room, and we take it one game at a time. We want to make sure that we have the right preparation for the coming up Saturday game, and we don't worry about the game that's down the road because that's when you get tripped up. And, you know, with our 2 losses, we can't afford any more losses if we want home field throughout the playoffs.
And we talked about 3 of the last 4 here being on the road now. We have trips left to Omaha, to Sioux City, to Dodge City. The one game that we do have left, it seems like we get it at home every single year, and it's such a special game to us because it falls on Memorial Day weekend, and that comes up Saturday, May 28th. Tickets, of course, at Tony'sPizzaVinCenter.com or at their box office during business hours. Tell me in about 60 seconds what this game means, because the Liberty name is a name, but the scheme, the red, white, and blue and all that, and you guys do exactly everything you have to do to kind of support the mantra of the weekend.
Absolutely. You know, we're a blue-collar community, and, you know, when we put this franchise together, we want to represent, you know, what makes Salina strong. That's the, you know, we basically we work hard. You know, we're a tight-knit community. It's a relationship community, and we're really proud to kind of carry that red, white, and blue, you know, banner for. And we really do a lot and connect with the, you know, our armed forces. Of course, Army's a big new sponsor for us this year. We got some really neat things planned for the 28th. It's, you know, we're gonna allow our veterans to be on the field, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's going to be something really special that happens at halftime. that, if that doesn't put goosebumps or make your hair rise, because these are the men and women that, allow us to do what we do every day. And there's not a more important profession out there.
That's all we need. That's a great teaser. Dan Mendocino, he will be joining us here on Coach's Show, of course, throughout the season, keeping us up to date. My name's Devin Hanney, Big Sam Pretty, producing and engineering. Brian Dennett providing video. It's another Coach O Show. Big game coming up on Saturday. Pregame starts here on KINA at 6 o'clock as we visit the Omaha Beef at Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Omaha. We'll see you next week.